Good morning. It is Wednesday, February the 5th, 2025. Hump Day, heading downhill towards the weekend. Not a bad start here in north central Wisconsin. The temperature around the same it was yesterday. 1 degree above zero, but no wind right now. And that's good news. Feels warmer for whatever reason. And it is. Yesterday we had wind chills, roughly 10 below zero, so feeling much better, but the weather could be back in the news later today into tonight, expecting some freezing rain, some snow. We'll get all the details coming up in just a few minutes when we are joined by meteorologist Brittney Merlot. She'll be with us at 8:21 this morning. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, in hour number 2, it will be our monthly visit with Christine Daniels, who is the executive director of the Good News Project. So she'll be with us coming up at 9:34 this morning as well. Hopefully your day is off to a good start. And of course, should mention as well, very end of the show, we'll have our daily history lesson, talk about some of the famous events that have occurred on this date in history, talk about some of the celebrity birthdays, some events that are being acknowledged today, and our number for the day quiz. And somebody that needs to get back on the winning track. In fact, I was doing a hockey game last night, and I ran into somebody who said, yeah, Ian is 0 for 2 this week.
Ooh.
He's got to get going. And that is Ian Welsh across the way. Good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
You got to get going.
Yeah, they're absolutely right. I got to get back on the winning track.
Just to get a passing grade. You got to get 2 of the last 3. Put a little pressure on.
Always keeps it entertaining, though.
It does.
Well,
and the thing about it is there's going to be ups and downs because, again, 3 choices every day.
Yep.
Usually not an obvious choice.
No, it's
educated guess.
Unusual questions.
Educated guess.
Yep. That's all it is.
But you had a streak of 5 in a row.
Oh.
And now you've missed 3 in a row. Up and down. Escalator.
Yeah. That's that a roller coaster effect. Hopefully I can start to, climb back up that hill.
Absolutely. And we will have the number for the day quiz coming up at the very end of the show at 9:55 this morning. Also, a quick note. Tonight, we have the Big High School Sports Show, 6 until 8 p.m., right here on 98.9. I will be joined by former Newman Catholic High School boys basketball coach Jeff Gress, plus special guests. We'll be talking about what is going on in high school basketball and hockey. Our guest at 6:25 will be Stratford boys basketball coach Kurt Schmidt. Tigers having an outstanding season. Then our student athlete guest coming up at 7:06 from Wausau West boys basketball, senior Griffin Lang. So join us tonight, 6 to 8 p.m., Big High School Sports Show right here on WXCO.
Should be a great show.
As long as the voice hangs in there. It was actually interesting yesterday because anybody who was tuned in heard a voice that was not great yesterday morning. It stayed that way. I had a couple of, Zoom meetings later in the morning. Then it got to lunchtime, and I said, if I'm going to do the game tonight, I got to do something here. I got to figure something out. So I just went home. I was wearing a sweater. I was pretty warm. I climbed under the blankets. I sweated for a couple of hours, took a shower, and then the voice got better for the game. It did.
Well, that's good.
Mornings are the tough part. And again, for a morning radio host, that's not good. But I do think, for whatever reason, last night gave me a little bit of optimism. And we need optimism these days.
Absolutely.
Because the voice got better. The game went well. And I'm hoping that as this morning goes on, it will get better as well. So I'm going to be optimistic. Yesterday, during the show, I was getting very frustrated because I've been fighting this, and many of you have as well, for about 2.5 weeks. I keep thinking we're going to turn the corner, and it just has not happened. In fact, tonight, I mentioned that our coach guest is Kurt Schmidt from Stratford. He was not going to be our guest. Our guest was going to be Jana Wimmer from the Central Wisconsin Storm. But I ran into her last night, and we were waiting to see if her voice would come back. And her voice was much worse than anything that I've had. I mean, she could barely get anything out. And I said, stop talking. Stop trying. I feel for you. I know where you've been. But so many, there have been, I heard another game last night. They pull up the information because so many of the kids are ill.
Yeah.
Last night.
That's really sad.
There was supposed to be a Tomahawk Merrill boys basketball game rescheduled till next week because of illness on the Tomahawk team. Last week, there was a Wausau West hockey game postponed because the Eau Claire North team had illness. I mean, it is all over the place. And I don't know what is going on out there, to be honest with you. I mean, this time of year, obviously, it tends to be this way. But we need something to break this. And selfishly, and for everybody else out there, I've noticed you seem to be okay.
Well, I'm hanging in there. They're just, I have this a very rare thing. I don't know if it's actually a real thing or not. But I have like this, a 24/7 allergy thing. Like, it doesn't matter what season I'm in. I always have something. Like I always have a sinus issues or a sore throat or a cough. It doesn't matter if it's spring or a summer or the winter. I mean, I'm doing okay. However, my nose just still feels stuffed up. I feel like I have this tickle in my throat,
but you're doing much better than many of us. I tried all these
different remedies, and somehow I still seem to have it.
But yeah,
it does get better from time to time.
For everybody out there that is fighting it, I feel for you. Please feel for me as well. Yeah. But I do think, and just while you were talking, I took my Kleenex and I cleaned out the sinuses, and it helped, just even for a moment. But I've noticed as well, the more I talk, but nevertheless, glad you could be with us. Coming up, going to talk about a couple of things. One, the Federal Communication Commission. I kind of keep an eye on the FCC, being somebody that for many years has had an FCC license. But we have a new chairman of the Federal Communications Commission that is frankly using his power in a completely wrong way.
Oh, dear.
And unfortunately, some of the major networks are kowtowing again to MAGA, Trump, and his FCC commissioner. Going to talk about this because there's no guarantee that we might not see the FCC come after civic media. They're, they are coming after people. And do I have to be careful? Could they come after me? Hey, if they do, come after me. I mean it. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, talking about the pardons that were given by President Biden before he left office. And I said, the one thing that was bad about it, and I understand preemptive pardons because the way that this administration we've seen in the last 2+ weeks is weaponizing government. It's understandable. You don't want to have people that have done nothing wrong have to hire lawyers, spend lots of money defending themselves because you have a government that's coming after you. But at the same time, it makes it come across like you have done something wrong. If, in my case, if they were to come after me, I would say, I don't want a pardon. I did nothing wrong. I want to fight. Hopefully, wouldn't bankrupt me. But what the FCC chairman is doing right now is wrong. And I want to talk about that coming up. Also, I want to talk about the fabric of America. Because I think many of you have heard since yesterday's show, Donald Trump wanting to turn Gaza into a new Mediterranean hideaway for rich people and basically deport millions of people. Wrong. Again. And it's so wrong based on what America is. I want to talk about a little bit about the fabric of this country that's being torn away right now by MAGA and Donald Trump. And what are the people going to do about it? Because it seems like there is a portion of this country that whatever Donald Trump says goes. And he can completely contradict himself. And I'm going to show you how he's been contradicting himself. And yet the MAGAs doesn't matter.
No, it's not.
The time is 8:18. We're going to talk about some potential snow and weather with Brittney Merlot coming up next. Here on 98.9 WXCO.
In the corner out of the grid. When they ask me, what are you looking at? I always answer, nothing much, not much. I think they know that I'm looking at them. I think they think I must be out of touch, but I'm only in the outskirts and in the fringes, on the edge and on the avenue. And if you want me, you can find me left of center, wondering about you.
Good morning, Brittney.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just allergies or something. Sneezing a bunch.
Oh,
today.
yeah. Hey, there's some really nasty going around. A lot of people seem to be getting it.
Ugh. I don't go out, so I don't get it. I'm usually just outside in nature. Are the trees giving me?
I don't know. I heard this on the radio as I was driving into work this morning. Today is a very special day for you. It's National Weather Person's Day.
Thank you. Yes, it is. That snuck up on me. I was like, wait, is it really February? Oh, yeah, it is February.
Mm-hmm.
Fun day. Fun day. All the weather nerds.
Well, I don't think they're weather nerds. I think it's more weather enthusiasts.
Sure. That's a better, nicer way.
I think nerd is a little harsh.
I call myself one, so. But you're right.
Step right up and don't be shy, because you will not believe your eyes. She's right here behind the glass. You're gonna like her, but she's got class. You can look inside another world. You get to talk to and bring.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. The time is 8:22, 1 degree above zero here in downtown Wausau. But as I said earlier, feels much warmer today. The winds have calmed down, and it wasn't bad walking out to the vehicle here this morning. But may have to get those shovels back out. Chance of more snow coming up. And to get all the details on what's been an interesting weather week so far, and could be a continuing weather week that stays interesting right through the weekend, joined by meteorologist Brittney Merlot. And Brittney, good morning.
Good morning, Chad. Yeah, Mother Nature is just all over the place, giving us little shots of snow here and there and a little wintry wonderland. The little cold blast yesterday, like you said, feeling much better tomorrow or this morning. Gosh, the sun is out too for now, kind of.
I mean, it was really odd this morning walking out there because I heard it was really cold. And I walk out my door and I'm thinking, it doesn't feel that cold. And again, it doesn't take long to get used to the cold weather. We talk about that all the time. When it's warm, then it gets cold. It feels really, really cold. And then when it gets cold, for like yesterday with the wind chills were well below zero, you get back to a wind chill that's no factor. It feels not bad. It really is kind of a pleasant morning.
It is those darn winds that change so much of what we feel. So thankfully, they're barely moving today. They will start to get feisty, though, tonight, and especially into the overnight hours as that system hits. And then, obviously, behind it, tomorrow, we're looking at winds gusting up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. So they are going to get strong once again as they pull our temperatures down tomorrow and to close into the weekend. But for today, it's beautiful. We've got the sun making it through the high clouds. The clouds will thicken, though, by this afternoon, and we do have a chance for a few flurries flying around, probably between 2 to 4. But then the light snow actually shoves in after 5. It'll be pretty consistent through the overnight and winding down by early tomorrow morning, but it does have a chance as it exits to mix with a little bit of freezing rain, too. So slick and slippery roads are definitely possible this evening and through early tomorrow morning. But otherwise, in terms of accumulations, we're not looking at too much. It looks like about an inch into our area now, when before it was probably 1 to 3. Now it's on the lighter side of things. So not too bad of a hit tonight. Again, windy tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s, but falling throughout the day. Friday, we're looking at highs in the teens. It'll be sunny, beautiful, just a touch breezy. And then Saturday is the next system. Now that one has me pretty excited. It's a pretty big, widespread snowstorm hitting Wisconsin. I would say majority of us are going to see 2 to 5 inches, but it does want to lay down a half a foot into places of the Northwoods. So it's kind of switching between here, Hayward, Park Falls, and, some of those areas. So we'll see who's going to get a half a foot or more, but I would definitely say expect at least 4 or 5 inches or so here.
Well, and frankly, it's good for Saturday because for folks that want that snow. And it actually sounds like it's better not to get the more snow that you were talking about tonight into tomorrow, because with that 40 mile per hour wind gust, I mean, you talk about blowing and drifting. If we had more than that, that could lead to a rather hairy drive tomorrow morning, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So, I mean, still with an inch, we can still see some blowing and redrifting, but like you said, nothing too major going on where it's going to be recovering the roads constantly or visibility greatly reduced. So, good news, yes, just an inch. It shouldn't be too bad.
And Ian, you were saying that this is a special day?
Well, yes, I actually heard this on the radio as I was driving in to work. today is National Weather Person's Day.
Well,
Woo!
I'll be doggone. We got our own very special weather person, meteorologist. I mean, even beyond the weather person, you got the
Mhm.
meteorologist. Well, big party tonight, Brittany.
You know, it snuck up on me. I should. I should just go outside and have a snowball fight with a little bit of snow that's left. But celebrating John Jeffrey's birthday, he was the first weather person to take an
Really?
observation back in 1749. So
Wow.
long, long ago. He was also
Can
the
you?
first person to send up a weather balloon and take some
Oh,
observations as well. So a big pioneer for meteorologists.
can you imagine the time before people didn't
Nope.
look at weather forecasts?
Nope.
Because I mean, so much of our lives, to be honest, you think about this. If you want to go and do some outdoor activities or travel, one of the first things you do? You look at the forecast.
What's the weather? Yep.
Exactly. When did you decide that you wanted to get into weather? How old were you?
Oh, honestly, it was a part of me ever since a tornado hit my family's house when I was 5 years old. So I feel like
Mm.
it was ingrained into me then, but I didn't know until I was actually in college and started storm chasing and taking classes and getting obsessed and passionate and all of that. So I'd say probably in my 20s.
Obsessed and passionate. That's
Yep.
any job that we do.
Mhm.
Those are two things that we should be.
I
And I
agree
think
with you.
the lucky folks are obsessed and passionate about their work, and obviously you are as well. So
Thank you.
fantastic. Enjoy your special day.
Woo!
Thanks for the information, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Bye,
Have a
Brittany.
great day. Bye, guys.
That is our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot. Right now, fair skies in downtown Wausau. Temperature 1 degree above zero, but the winds are calm. So no wind chill factor. The dew point is 4 below. Relative humidity of 79%. The barometer at 30.36 inches and a visibility of 10 miles. The time is 8:28. Coming up, we're going to have a look at everything going on. News, weather, and sports. Entertainment as well. Information update. Top and bottom of every hour. And then after that, I saw a really good article today talking about Donald Trump brazenly defying the laws. And when you see it listed over and over and over again, it really stands out. And I'm going to share part of that because we need to keep an eye on what he is doing. We have to keep an eye on it and push back. So we're going to look at that coming up next. And again, Christine Daniels, Good News Project, will be joining us in hour number 2. With Ian Welsh, I'm Chad Holmes. The time is almost 8:29, 98.9 WXCO.
Carry on. Don't let us roll. Won't let our young say the freedom fly.
Yeah,
Play 2004.
you got it.
I'm Chad Holmes, joined former Newman Catholic head boys basketball coach Jeff Gress and myself every Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m. for the Big High School Sports Show presented by K5 Construction on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. Each week, we'll recap the action in high school basketball and hockey and look ahead to the coming week's matchups. Plus, we'll have special guests. Each week, we'll have an opportunity to sit down with one of our area head coaches to find out more about their team and their program. And also, we'll be joined by one of our area student athletes each week. We'll talk about their sports, talk about school, and a whole bunch more as well. It's the Big High School Sports Show, presented by K5 Construction, every Wednesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. on 98.9 WXCO, BullFallsRadio.com, mobile devices by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app.
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to feel. Everything I thought that I knew starts to look so unreal.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. You can also join us on our WXCO YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com, subscribe to 98.9 WXCO, and be able to catch our show there. Add your comments as well. You can call or text us, 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297. 9297. Call or text. And I hope that you do respond to a couple of things I'm going to talk about the rest of this hour. There is a word that I think should start to be used when it comes to what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing to the United States government.
Imbecilic?
Coup. A coup is going on in the United States government. In fact, a wonderful newsletter I get every day from, it's actually basically a baseball newsletter, but it has lots of news and comment in it as well. It's called Cup of Coffee with Craig Calcaterra. And this morning, he had an item on his newsletter once he got done with all the baseball stuff. Says, yesterday, a subscriber emailed to remind me of something I wrote in my pandemic diary on March 23rd, 2020. Calcaterra says, I have no memory of writing it, but, and then he printed it out. And this is from March of 2020.
Okay.
There's nothing written that says we will win. There's nothing cast in stone establishing that America is righteous or that it will last, either as we know it or in an absolute sense. We can yank the steering wheel and drive our country into the ditch. We seem pretty intent on doing that, actually. If we do, the road crew will haul away the wreckage and traffic will resume. And then he says, in light of the events of the past week, those words seem far more prophetic than philosophical. And what is going on at the United States Treasury should be 24/7 coverage on network news.
Really
Because
should.
what is happening right now at the United States Treasury is a coup. Wired has reported that contrary to published reports, Elon Musk and his operatives at the Treasury Department were not limited to read-only access to department payment systems. Rather, a 25-year-old member of Musk's illegal task force named Marco Ellis has assumed control of administration privileges over these critical systems. What does that mean? That means these systems directly control and pay out roughly 95% of payments made by the U.S. government, including Social Security checks, tax refunds, and virtually all contract payments. In Calcaterra's newsletter, he notes that Josh Marshall of Talking Points Memo reports that not only does Musk have full access to these systems, he has already made extensive changes to the code base over which only he likely has access and control. So basically, if he changes up the computer algorithms and doesn't tell anybody how to change them back, he is in total control. That is a coup.
Yeah, it's rigging the system so no one else knows how to use it except for the people who program it, like him. If anyone knows how to change it, and he doesn't tell anybody else, that means he maintains control of it, and that is unacceptable.
And according to Marshall, these changes were not tested or vetted in a development environment. They were plugged in live on the fly and now exist in such a way that the changes may be difficult to detect, let alone undo. I think it's almost more scary when you say you can't even detect them. They could have made these changes and we don't even know.
That's a terrifying thought.
And reports have Musk moving next from the Treasury to the Department of Labor and the Department of Energy. The point that Calcaterra makes, that I'm going to make as well, is this idea of a coup. It's been talked about since Trump has started with all these outside the law moves.
Yeah.
This is not a theoretical coup. This is a coup. And we have Republicans in Congress standing back and letting it happen. Elon Musk, a man that the press secretary, when being questioned yesterday by CNN, refused to say, she didn't refuse. She admitted that she does not know whether Elon Musk even has a security clearance. The press secretary to Donald Trump. But now, Elon Musk, unelected, this foreign-born billionaire Nazi sympathizer, is single-handedly taking over control of the United States government.
Unacceptable.
The president has allowed him to do this. But I don't think Trump has any control over it. You think he's going to be able to stop Musk?
Well, I don't think he can stop him even if he wanted to.
Absolutely. But there's got to be some profiles and courage. There has to be some Republicans who are willing to step up and be counted on to save our democracy. We need Democrats to be heading to the United States Treasury Department. Rally there. There have been people. In fact, there were elected officials yesterday, along with others, who went to the Treasury and weren't allowed in. But do you want Elon Musk controlling your Social Security payments out there, people? Your tax refunds? He is. What should be done? What are your thoughts out there? 715-382-9297. We need strength right now.
I know it's probably too much to ask, but he needs oversight. He needs someone to be watching him a 24/7, like a watchdog, and making sure that he is being monitored and called out on these actions. And when he goes too far, which I'm pretty sure he already has, he should be arrested. I don't care how much money he has. I don't care how much power he has. This man needs to be called out for the bad stuff he's doing and has to be put in jail.
But he's been enabled by the President of the United States. Republicans in Congress are the ones that can stop this. Because
Yeah,
Congress,
they don't have the courage to do it right.
but they don't. And I saw a posting on social media yesterday. Former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh. And he kind of nailed it in terms of the mindset of MAGA.
What did he say?
He said, another reminder tonight, he put this out last night, that MAGA's only ideology is devotion to Trump. When Trump said, let's extricate America from the rest of the world, focus on at home, no more wars, no nation building, MAGA cheered. But now Trump says, let's take over Greenland, Canada, the Panama Canal, and Gaza, and MAGA cheers. No matter what Trump does,
They don't care what
MAGA
the policy
cheers.
is. They don't care about his policies. All they care about is his personality. I know it's kind of a stretch, but that's what I feel like. They don't care. They think everything that comes out of his mouth is like golden honey or something. It's just he tells the people what they want to hear, and they support him and don't even question him. It's like, people, can you please just listen to the stuff he's saying? He wants to turn the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Do you know
He has
how
done it.
twisted that sounds?
He's done it.
He already did it?
Yes.
Jeez.
There's going to be maps that say Gulf of America.
Oh my gosh.
Because people are falling down and kissing the ring. And now, and Calcaterra makes another point that I think is important to think about. He says, we are a day or two away from Trump's people saying out loud that they will simply choose to ignore court orders going forward, and they will do whatever they want while Republicans in Congress shrug and everyone else is powerless to do anything about it. We're a day away from going from basically a functioning nation to dictatorial rule. It's been 2 weeks and 2 days since he's been inaugurated. And coming up, I'm going to go through a listing. I mean, it's incredible, the listing of how many outside the law moves Donald Trump has made in the first 16 days of his second presidency.
Yeah.
We often hear about updates on computers, version 2.0, 3.0. Well, Trump 2.0 has been, I would say, a much more powerful force for evil than Trump 1.0 was.
Well, basically, the first version was him just getting his feet wet. But this time, he's in the pool swimming laps, seeing how far he can extend his reach.
And this time, and again, he lied when he said, I have nothing, I don't know about Project 2025. All of this is right from the book. He's got the playbook. Tim Walsh said, you don't put together a playbook unless you plan on using it. And they're using it. And we're seeing signs of life from the Democratic opposition, but it has to get picked up much more quickly.
Republicans also have to get on the ball, too. I mean, they can't just sit back and let this happen.
They can, and they are, and they probably will.
Jeez.
They are not going to cross Donald Trump.
Do you honestly think that the Republican Party, and agree to disagree here, I'm open to arguments, but do you honestly think the Republican Party is going to be taken seriously in future elections if we have any? I mean, honestly, the whole thing is just
they won
terrifying.
in November. That was that long ago. Ian,
I'm just saying.
you're too optimistic here.
I know.
I don't want to take you down, but right now,
there's a point when even an optimist has to call it quits.
No, it's not about calling it quits. It's about taking that optimism and also knowing the realistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
You need the optimism in order to get to the goals that we want to get to.
Yeah, you got to find that balance.
Exactly.
So you're right.
And we're going to talk about, again, coming up here, some of the illegal actions already taken by Trump. 2 weeks and 2 days into his administration. 849, 98.9 WXCO.
Nothing is clear. No more words. Tell me you love me while you're looking away. No. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful, a miracle. Oh, it was beautiful, magical. And all the birds in the trees, they be singing so happily, oh, joyfully, oh, playfully, watching me. But then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, oh, responsible, practical. And then they showed me a world where I could be so dependable, oh, clinical, oh, intellectual, cynical. There are times when all
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Time is 8:52. Here's a list of where Donald Trump went outside the boundaries. The TikTok ban. A law was passed banning TikTok.
Mhm.
Donald Trump told the Justice Department, don't enforce it. He's not supposed to be able to do that.
No.
Foreign aid freeze through USAID. Donald Trump cannot do that. But yet, the Congress, who is ultimately responsible, has not done anything to stop him. Domestic grants freeze. The courts, fortunately, have stepped in and said, at this point, given a stay on that. But again, Donald Trump did it, breaking the law.
He did.
Inspector generals, dozens fired,
Uh-huh.
totally illegal. National Labor Relations Board, a firing, illegal. Federal prosecutors fired, illegal.
That's 6.
And ending birthright citizenship with an executive order. It's
Mhm.
constitutional. You can't do that, Donald. So, Donald Trump, and I would suggest if you have an opportunity, check out the New York Times today. There's an article by Charlie Savage, titled Trump Brazenly Defies Laws in Escalating Executive Power Grab. In the radical opening weeks of his second term, Trump has appeared to feel little constraint by any need to show respect for the rule of law. And that is one thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Is there's these right-wingers who always talk about the rule of law, rule and law, law and order. And then they have this guy who's never respected the law, and they worship him.
It's hypocritical. The one thing that really gets me mad is this whole presidential immunity thing. Just, if the courts hadn't made that presidential immunity thing true, none of this would be happening.
It is definitely a factor. It is definitely a factor. But it's amazing how quickly this has occurred. But again, as I said,
16 days.
As I said, they had the roadmap, Project 2025. It was all there. It was talked about in the run-up to the election. But people said, no, doesn't matter. Donald Trump, egg prices.
It's just incredible how there's all this evidence and all this, all this stuff that proves that what he's doing is wrong, and yet people just blatantly ignore it, all because, Trump is my hero. Trump is my savior. Trump is going to make things better for me. That's why I support him. It's not just about you people. This is about everyone.
And speaking of the courts, this could be part of a strategy as well, because Trump has basically shut down 3 agencies: the National Labor Relations Board, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, because they're left with too few officials to have a quorum to act. Trump has fired Democratic members before their terms expired. Congress created those agencies to be independent of the White House, and all 3 have been understood to have forms of protections limiting the president's ability to remove their leaders without a good cause, like misconduct.
See, it's another thing that Trump can't do.
Although only the labor board statute says that. Regardless, Mr. Trump flouted the limit. In doing so, according to this Times article, the Trump administration appears to be setting up test cases should those officials sue that would give the Republican-appointed supermajority on the Supreme Court an opportunity to expand on the so-called unitary executive theory. That doctrine, developed by the Reagan administration legal team, holds that the Constitution should be interpreted to prohibit Congress from enacting laws that limit a president's absolute control of the executive branch. But you mentioned the presidential immunity case that came down last year. This would be more opportunities for this far-right Supreme Court to allow Donald Trump to float the law. Coming up, information update. Find out what Trump's been up to today so far. Coming up in hour 2, Christine Daniels from the Good News Project. Our daily history lesson and number for the day quiz as well. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Will you ever come again? Smooth skin, soft and white. Waves of circles within the night. Dance inside the dream of circle. All I need is a TV show, that and the radio. Down on my luck again, down on my luck again. I can show you some of the people in my life. I can show you some of the people in my life. It's driving me mad. Just another way of passing the day.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, February the 5th of 2025. Temperature up 3 degrees in the past hour, 4 degrees above zero here in downtown Wausau, corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street. Winds continue to be calm. So again, not bad out there to begin things. I am Chad Holmes. It is hour number 2 of the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Well, I know in the last half hour been a little bit negative, but I do believe right now that we need to have our hair on fire. We need to talk about this a lot. I mean, yeah, Beyonce won a Grammy, so be it. But there's a coup going on in our government. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing illegal thing after illegal thing. We need to talk about it. And I'm going to continue to talk about it. It reminds me so much, and I got another story that is going to not be a sunshiny start story, but it reminds me of what's being done in Wausau with folks down the street at another radio station sending out their lunatics to scream and yell. There are racists going after federal health workers. I'm going to tell you about that because this is the kind of people these people are. Going to do that in a few minutes, but let's take a deep breath. Let's take a step back. Let's get the optimism back because the person that walks me off the ledge every morning, our in-studio engineer, producer, Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Reminder that coming up, we will have our discussion. We have every first Wednesday of the month with Christine Daniels, Executive Director of the Good News Project. She'll be with us at the bottom of the hour. And then after that, we'll have our daily history lesson, including our number for the day quiz, which we give to Ian each and every morning at 9:55. How are you doing this week?
Oh, I am a 0 for 2. Yeah.
Are you optimistic, though, that you're going to turn it around?
You know what? I am optimistic. I'm going to get a win. And today I'm going to start to get back on the winning track.
I have not looked yet to see what the topic is. Let me pull it up here. I've been so crazy here this morning. I haven't gone back and looked at our February 5th information here that I received.
If you were here for Monday's question, it was the percentage of kids who like their sandwiches cut diagonally, and that was definitely an interesting question. I did not get that one right. But then yesterday's question was about the anniversary of YouTube, and they should be celebrating a birthday coming up. It's going to be their 20th anniversary because since they first came out in 2005. It's crazy how that YouTube started in like the early 2000s, and 20 years later, it's still going strong.
It's going stronger than ever.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I am going off the grid today.
Okay, you're calling an audible.
I'm calling an audible. Our topic for the number for the day quiz today will be Super Bowl commercials.
Ooh.
Of course, the Super Bowl coming up Sunday, Super Bowl 59. And
Ooh.
speaking of the Super Bowl, and again, eventually we're gonna lift things up, but I am really annoyed because the NFL has, if you notice in NFL games in the end zones, they'll have messages, and it'll say "end racism" or "choose love." But
those posters I like to see.
But the NFL, according to a report that came out yesterday, will not include the message "end racism" in the end zone at the Super Bowl for the first time since 2021. Can you believe that? They have decided for the Super Bowl to remove that starting this Sunday.
I don't think that's a smart decision.
They will have other phrases. It takes all of us and choose love. But an NFL spokesman said the choice of messages was made in response to several deadly tragedies throughout the United States since the start of the new year. But the idea that they're going to remove it for the first time in a number of years after the start of a new term of a man that is a racist. It comes across as wanting to avoid annoying the racist in the White House. And
well, they're going to be annoyed anyway. It doesn't matter if there's a sign or not, because there's still people. I'm willing to bet that there are going to be people at the Super Bowl that have end racism signs.
I will give credit to Roger Goodell, however, the commissioner of the NFL, because at his Super Bowl press conference, he was asked about the NFL's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, because Donald Trump and MAGAs have been going after him.
Constantly.
He says the NFL will not be scaling back their DEI programs, even as many other corporations have scaled back their operations since the election of Donald J. Trump. Goodell said, "We got into diversity efforts because we felt it was the right thing for the NFL, and we're going to continue those efforts because we've not only convinced ourselves, I think we've proven ourselves that it does make the NFL better. And it has made America better." He says, "We're not in this because it's a trend to get in or a trend to get out of. Our efforts are fundamental in trying to attract the best possible talent into the NFL, both on and off the field, as I said previously."
Well said.
And it's about getting the best talent, making sure that those who are below the radar previously get opportunities.
Yeah.
It's not about lowering the bar, much like Trump and his minions keep saying.
We're not lowering the bar. We're giving everybody a fair chance, despite of where they come from, how much money they make, and their talents. It's about equal opportunities for everybody.
And I got to tell you about this other story that involves DEI. Last night on NBC News, NBCnews.com, federal health workers are expressing fear and alarm after a website called DEI Watch List published the photos, names, and public information of a number of workers across health agencies, describing them at one point as, quote, targets.
That's horrible.
It's unclear when the website, which lists mostly Black employees who work in agencies primarily within the Department of Health and Human Services, first appeared. Get this. People, get this. Offenses for the workers listed on the website include working on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, donating to Democrats, and, God forbid, using pronouns in their bios.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Offenses. The website, a government worker said, is being circulated among multiple private groups of chats of federal health workers across agencies, as well as through social media links. The executive director of the American Public Health Association said this is a scare tactic to try to intimidate people who are trying to do their work and do it admirably. It's clear racism. We have a racist leading this government, and now it is trickling down again and again and again.
Something has to be done.
A government worker said they found out theirs was among the names on the website yesterday afternoon after a former co-worker sent them the link on social media. The person said, "It's unnerving. My name and my picture is there. And in 2025, it's very simple to Google and look up someone's home address and all kinds of things that potentially put me at risk. I don't know what the intention of the list is for. It's just kind of a scary place to be." On Tuesday evening, the site listed photos of employees and linked to further information about them under the headline Targets, but later last night, the headline on each page had been changed to Dossiers. Still the same thing. Unbelievable. And it reminds me of what happened last week at the Wausau City Council meeting when Meg Ellefson and WSAU sent their minions over there to start screaming and yelling at those who were trying to get some accountability to the mayor for hauling away a drop box.
Seriously, I mean, what do they think?
These people are going after other people.
Mhm.
It's wrong. It's wrong on every sense. There is no sense of decency out there with these people. It's just not right.
Sense of maturity with some people either. It's like they think they can act like a children who are at these meetings instead of just trying to have a conversation. And it's like people who grow up and learn to act like a chivalrous person.
All right,
and not
we
being too generous.
we are going to take a step away from all of this.
Good idea.
Coming up in just a little bit, Christine Daniels of the Good News Project, and I'm going to talk a little sports coming up next. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
You broke home and you keep holding on. You know you've changed and you're worse than life. That's something you can't deny.
Hello there, this is James.
Melissa,
Chad.
and Seth, inviting you to come work with us. Civic Media is looking for a full-time sales professional to work with existing and new broadcast and digital media clients.
we're a fast-growing company that offers competitive wages, benefits, a relaxed working environment that focuses on quality of life and includes a team of support to reach our shared goals.
Join us in continuing what we have done for 80 years. Be a part of the community, put into the community, celebrate community.
Find out more by contacting Chuck Gennaro at 715-935-8030 or email chuck.gennaro@civicmedia.us. All inquiries are confidential. Civic Media Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer, and we look forward to you joining us.
Do you hear me? Do you care? Do you hear me? Do you care? My lips are moving and the sound's coming out. The words are all the woo, but I am not those that you realize. What has been said? You look at me as if
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Just heard a promo to join us. Believe me, you come here. I'm not always crazy. Just today, there was one of those days where I felt like we needed to talk a lot about what is happening, what's going on in terms of the takeover, the coup going on in our government. So I'm not crazy all the time, but if you're somebody that would like to be involved, again, send us a message. You can get it to me. I'll make sure Chuck gets it, but send it directly, chuck.gennaro@civicmedia.us, or reach out to me as well, because great opportunities here at Civic Media. Tonight, we have the big high school sports show, 6 till 8 p.m. Jeff Gress and myself talk high school sports, focusing on basketball and hockey this time of year. Plus, special guests, our coach guest this week from Stratford, their boys basketball coach, Kurt Schmidt. He'll be with us at 6:25. And then at 7:06, our student athlete guest from Wausau West, outstanding senior boys basketball player, will be talking to Griffin Lang. So that's tonight, big high school sports show, 6 till 8 p.m. right here on 98.9 WXCO. Also, speaking of more positive stories, and coming up later this morning, in fact, over at Wausau West at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be heading over there and be part of a signing ceremony. There will be 4 student athletes from Wausau West who will be continuing their athletic and academic careers at the next level. And it's always so much fun because those events, the kids sign their letter of intent. Their parents are there. Their family members are there. Their friends are there. Their classmates are there. Their teammates are there.
It's very
Their
supportive.
teachers are there. A media person or 2 is there.
Yeah.
It really is one of the fun aspects. And I've said this before, how one of the best parts of the job is when we do have the kids come on, whether it's athletes or theater kids or whoever it may be.
Yeah.
I love having the opportunity to speak to the young people, because despite all the troubles we have right now, and there are a lot of troubles, and we're going to have to fight against some bad people, I do still hold hope that the young people are going to help get us to a brighter future, and we're going to continue to be able to do that. Oh, next week, the Children's Theater. What's the show? Is it Les Mis?
Yep. Les Mis.
I was contacted yesterday by the one of the people involved in that, and we're going to set up a chance to get some of the folks involved in that production with us next week. So again, we always enjoy doing that. And again, it's not always as heavy as it's been so far today, but we'll make sure to loosen it up just a little bit once in a while too as well. So again, absolutely. I appreciate you folks sticking with us as I vented for the better part of an hour. Last night, high school sports, I was at Marathon Park, Wausau West in hockey, defeating East Merrill United by a score of 10-2. Also in hockey last night, Mosinee in a great Northern Conference playoff shut out Medford 7-0. Wisconsin Rapids fell to Thomas Sparta 2-0. Northern Pines over Antigo 9-3. High school boys basketball last night, game that was heard right here on 98.9 WXCO. Tom Weaver had the call as Marathon defeated Newman Catholic 68-40. The Red Raiders continue to get good production from True Thurs. He led the way with 13 points. Ian Shuda had 11. Quincy Fender led the Cards with 18 points. Also last night, good win for DC Everest in boys hoops, beating Mosinee 87-80. Wausau East topped Lakeland 82-71. Wausau West wins again, beating Rhinelander 56-47. Also last night, Stratford over Edgar 65-47. Northern Lutheran fell to White Lake by a score of 55-42. Faith Christian lost to Bowler 73-45. Also last night, Assumption loses to Auburndale. It was Athens edging Phillips and Rib Lake over Abbotsford. High school girls basketball, a lot of non-conference play. Medford beat Wausau East 67-13. Marshfield over Baraboo. Stevens Point beat Rhinelander. Stratford over Loyal. It was Northern Lutheran falling to Iola Scandinavia. It was Boulder beating Faith Christian. Owen Withy top Prentice, and Spencer beat Thorpe. Tomorrow night, we have a big one in high school hockey. Always one of my favorite games of the year when DC Everest comes to Marathon Park, because the park usually is packed. Short trip for the Evergreen fans. It should be a big one. Second place in the conference on the line. DC Everest at Wausau West. High school hockey tomorrow night, 6:50 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the opening faceoff, right here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. And Ian, why do we do it?
It's because we are very, very proud to be the only local Wausau radio station that still covers play-by-play action of high school sports in the area, and we will continue to do so for many, many, many years.
That is the hope. As long as my voice holds out. Until
I'm sure it will.
I think we're getting better. We're getting better. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Christine Daniels, the executive director of the Good News Project. That's straight ahead. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Just as far beyond as I can see, I still don't know what this all means to me. I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do, and I don't even know the time of day. I guess it doesn't matter anyway. Life is so strange. Destination unknown. When you don't know your destination, something could change. It's unknown. And then you won't know. Destination unknown. sight. Only you, only you. So we walked alone. Though I knew that there was something wrong, and a feeling that feels so strong.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Time is 9:34 on this Hump Day Wednesday. Christine, do you know what Hump Day Wednesday means?
Middle of the week.
It means we're heading downhill towards the
Okay,
weekend.
fantastic. I'll take
we
it.
have the momentum. Christine Daniels, Executive Director of the Good News Project. First Wednesday of the month. Always wonderful to see you.
It's always nice to be here.
And there's always so much interesting stuff to talk about.
I agree.
I guess before we start talking about the topic today, what's been going on since we last talked?
Oh, wow. What's been going on?
Well, that's sort of a general, and then we'll get to specific. But I know there's always a lot going on, and anything you want to kind of pump up. I guess number one, of course, you always want to talk about Friday recycling. Number two,
Of course.
something that, again, I think is always good to underline, pay a visit. Because if you
Yes.
really want to know what you folks are doing at the Good News Project, you love to show people around.
We sure do. Yeah, we love to give a tour. You know, we're looking for board members right now.
Oh.
I'm not sure if I mentioned that last time, but we need about 3 board members coming in April. And we don't want just anybody. We want someone who shares our values, and we're looking for specific skill sets, like
Right.
people in facilities, anyone
Oh.
with a legal background, so we can have an attorney on our board. Our previous one termed off. So if anyone's interested in learning more about Good News Project and looking perhaps for, board membership, but don't do it because you want it on your resume. Do it because you have a heart for the mission.
How many years have you been involved with Good News?
This will be my 25th.
I'm guessing it's not for your resume.
It's not. It's not. It's for the people. It's for the clients. It's for doing something that I love and feeling like I can actually make a positive change in the world.
I am going to put you on a spot here.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, you just said positive change for the world.
Yeah.
And we were talking off the air, and I said I've been ranting and raving. People are thinking I'm off my rocker here for the last hour. But there are so many people out there that are looking for better lives and
Mhm.
doing things to make their lives better, but also from time to time need a helping hand.
Yeah.
And right now we are at a point in this world, I don't want to say country, but in this world where the headwinds are a lot stronger.
They're blowing.
Can you talk a little bit again about your mission personally and for Good News
Yeah.
about how the world does become tighter, it becomes safer, it becomes a better place if we do link fingers and link arms
You
and work.
You bet. So our mission is fulfilling needs at home and abroad through meaningful service opportunities. And, we have our local programming, which helps people with durable medical equipment. So it's there for people actually of any economic class, but you have to have the need. And we want to be able to provide it for you in your time that you need it the most. And, internationally, I was just telling you that we just learned in the last couple days, of course, that our Denton Amendment program where we ship humanitarian goods has been shut down because it's a program of USAID. And, I was really reflecting on that because it does affect our budget. So this next year, I'm going to have to find $6,000 to $8,000 more to go through a private shipping company. It's not the end of the world, Chad, for us, but it's an example of how nonprofits are being impacted right now. And their missions are being impacted because we have so many social service agencies. Just let's talk about the Wausau area. We've got the women's community. We've got the Neighbors Place. We have OLA. We have CASA. These are all groups that are helping the most vulnerable in our society. And a lot of them rely on federal government dollars. And so, I'm scrambling for $6,000 to $8,000, and I can only imagine the budget effects this has on our local nonprofits, and therefore the trickle down that it's going to have on our community.
Real fast, when you say $6,000 to $8,000, and you think about, and I don't know how many lives that $6,000 to $8,000 would affect,
Mm-hmm.
but it does affect some lives. And when you think about the frankly, it's such small thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about these programs that were put together, and you think about USAID and what it's done over the years,
Yeah.
and these programs that have helped so many people, and just to come in with a machete, there's no thought behind it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about the lives.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we usually say, one of our humanitarian shipments affect about 1,000 people in the country we're shipping to. So, the types of things we're sending are durable medical equipment, things that people don't normally have access to just, enhance or better or make them more independent. It really does have an effect on not just the person needing the equipment now, but also their caretaker. And it's very much a ripple effect.
Again, we're talking to Christine Daniels, Executive Director of the Good News Project. You're on 98.9 WXCO. Let's get to our topic at hand before we run out of time.
I know, right?
And it was actually interesting because you sent me a note saying, okay, we're going to talk about this, and it's really interesting. Landfill fires.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Why is our landfill fires so interesting?
Well, it's interesting because our local landfill over in Ringgold, they experience about one fire a week. Mm-hmm. And the majority of them are caused by a tiny lithium battery. So think your cell phone lithium battery, something that maybe was thrown carelessly in your household trash, taken into the garbage truck, probably compacted potentially. So it not only has an effect on the landfill, but if it were to be compacted in the garbage truck, it can cause fires in the garbage truck. But say it gets all the way to the landfill, and then, they're moving the debris around, and it gets crushed by a dump truck. It can start a fire, and the average cost to get rid of one fire is $15,000. So, people can relate to the expense side of it. And so that's why we want to talk about what's the value of that, but also what's the environmental impact on that, right? So not only for the folks that are working to put these out, the disgusting smoke. If it gets into the methane tubing system, it can cost upwards of $250,000. So, these large compactors and dump trucks, they have to move soil around. First of all, they have to pinpoint where the fire is. They got to dig it up. They have to move it, outside of the landfill, and they have to get rid of it by putting tons of soil over it. So it's just a huge environmental impact, and we are only producing more and more lithium batteries. Right. It's a problem.
And it looks like this is a rollout this year. And you have some good partners as well.
Yeah. So the one of the ways Good News Project is trying to help address the Marathon County Solid Waste Facility, and address those problems that they're having is because we have an e-cycling program, we want to roll out the acceptance of household batteries on site. So normally we don't do that.
Right.
But we are positioning ourselves to, get a container, get a couple scales that are specific to weighing batteries. We can use our same end recycler to ship them to. But it's a whole different process. Right. There's a lot that goes into it. There's EPA standards, there's Department of Transportation standards, DNR.
And with those batteries, I mean, you talk about that last part of about those standards. Again, you think about that. You just think about a lot of layers. I mean, you think about that would be horrible for the environment. Yes. But then also the process of trying to recycle, it seems like it would be kind of complex from my lay point of view.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, most people have no idea about this. So not only are we going to try to get to the point of accepting batteries this year in 2025, but education is going to be key. So having these conversations so that people understand It is so bad to throw a lithium battery in your household garbage. Don't do it. The ramifications of it downstream are truly awful.
What should people do?
They need to recycle it. They need to take it to a place that can handle it properly and make use and capture the reusable resources in it. Get rid of, dispose of it properly. So there are currently places that do that. You could go to Batteries, Bulbs, and More, which is out in Rib Mountain. And there's a charge for all of this. You have, people, this is not an exciting thing to do for a business, just so you know. I mean, we're doing it more as a service than as, this is not to make money.
No.
This is to respond to a need in our community. But the Marathon County Landfill also does accept batteries at their hazmat site, which is their containers right at the entrance.
And that's it's much better for them to accept it there than to find it as part of a fire.
Exactly. Yes. Just do the right thing. That's the moral of the story.
Can I ask a big picture question here?
Sure.
When it comes to the environment and you see something like this, are we going to see more of this kind of issue as we go into the future, and that the focus on doing the right things is going to have to be even higher than it's been up to this point? A lot of people I know think they're doing as much as they can, but as technology continues to develop, this is an issue that's going to get bigger and bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there are examples from our history of where, we're manufacturing or making something and we really don't understand the long-term consequences of it. Lead paint, for example.
Yeah.
That, of course, is a huge thing. And there are still repercussions from that in households. I feel like the development of lithium batteries, it's the same thing. No one could foresee what the issues would be down the road of disposal. I was talking to someone yesterday, and he was talking about the electric vehicles in the South and how when one of the hurricanes went through, there were like 9,000 electric vehicles that were all of a sudden considered hazmat. So how do you deal with that?
I don't know.
I mean, we're not even setting ourselves up to accept large car lithium batteries.
Right.
We can't do that. We're talking about household batteries, the things, the rechargeable lithiums, cell phones, things like that. But we don't have the capability or the just the structure to accept larger things like that.
Frankly, we have 2 minutes to go.
Okay.
That's again something that if our government was focusing on the right things, you focus on how do we make this happen? How do we help groups like yourselves and other businesses that want to be part of the solution instead of taking away?
Yes. And how do we keep people healthy?
Yes.
Right?
Speaking of that, I know we both are trying to be healthier, and it's like,
my gosh.
and much of central Wisconsin's going through it as well, but glad you were able to make it in our last minute. Anything else you want to kind of say, or anything you want to remind people of?
1 minute. So we sent out a press release yesterday that our mobile help truck is going to be out in 11 rural communities starting the week of February 17th. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to talk about it once it's on the road and we've kind of experienced a couple weeks of the new program.
Right.
But it's exciting for us to deliver to rural communities.
And again, how can folks find out more about the Good News Project?
Come to our website or come directly to our facility, and I will give you a tour personally.
There you go. So visit Christine at the Good News Project. Christine, always great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a time out, have our daily history lesson, give Ian his number for the day quiz, and wrap things up. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
When Holmes died in battle. used to fool around, but I couldn't take punishment and had to settle down. Now I'm playing it real straight, and guess I cut my hair. You might think I'm crazy, but I don't even care, 'cause I can tell what's going on. It's hip to be square. It's hip to be square. I like my fans in business suits. I watch them on TV. I'm working out most every day and watching what I eat. They tell me that it's good for me, but I don't even care.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. It is Wednesday, February the 5th of 2025. What did I say? Did I say 25th? February the 5th, 2025.
Yep, that's right.
I am losing my mind here. 36th day of this year, 329 days remaining. Let's talk a bit about some of the famous events that have occurred on this date in history.
Here we go.
On this date in 1972, President Richard Nixon ordered the development of a space shuttle program. On this date in 2002, a federal grand jury indicted John Walker Lind, the so-called American Taliban, on 10 charges, alleging that Osama bin Laden's network trained him and that he conspired with the Taliban to kill Americans. On this date in 2015, Radio Shack filed for bankruptcy. On this date in 2017, the New England Patriots won Super Bowl 51 in overtime. It was the first overtime game in Super Bowl history. And on this date, 5 years ago today, the U.S. Senate voted to acquit Donald Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. A few famous people are celebrating their birthdays today. Actor Barbara Hershey, 77. Actor Christopher Guest, also 77. Former Saturday Night Live cast member Tim Meadows, 64. Actor Jennifer Jason Leigh, 63. Actor Laura Linney, 61. Former Saturday Night Live cast member Chris Parnell, 58. Actor Michael Sheen of Frost Nixon and the Twilight films, 56. Singer Bobby Brown is 56. Soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo turns 40. Actor Darren Criss of Glee is 38. Soccer player Neymar turns 33. And if you out there celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you from all of us at 98.9 WXCO.
Happy birthday.
Special events. Feels like this day is every day recently. Disaster Day.
Yeah.
It is Chocolate Fondue Day. Shower with a Friend Day.
I also heard that one on the radio as I was driving. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Weather Person's Day, as you reminded Brittney earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And World Nutella Day. I have no idea what that is. Nutella.
I know I've heard that before, but I'm sure it'll come to
All right, let's move on. All right.
Yes.
Our number for the day quiz. Every weekday we wrap things up, asking Ian Welsh to try to pick out our number for the day.
Mm-hmm.
We give him 3 choices based on the math. He should get 1 out of 3 right, 33%.
That's right.
So if it's above 33% for the week, he gets a passing grade. Below 33%, a failing grade. However, we want more than that.
Yes.
We want a winning week, which is 3 out of 5. His best ever week, which he matched last week, 4 out of 5. And still striving for the perfect week of 5 out of 5.
today's a big one. I gotta get this one right if I'm gonna get a chance to get a successful week.
Yep. All
Super
right.
Bowl commercials, right?
Yep.
All right.
Our number for the day. How much does a 30-second commercial during Super Bowl 59 cost?
Okay.
So a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl 59 cost how much?
All right. What are my choices?
$3 million, $5 million, $7 million.
For 30 seconds. Jeez, that's already gone up. Okay. How much does a 30-second ad in this year's Super Bowl cost? 3 million, 5 million, or 7 million? Well, okay, don't overthink this, Ian. Just go with your gut here. Okay, I'm going to guess that a 30-second ad for the Super Bowl costs... You know, I'm going to say 5 million. I'm going to go with B, and it costs 5 million. It's my final answer. I'm sticking with it.
A 30-second commercial during Super Bowl 59 costs around $7 million.
Oh, the biggest number.
Though some brands have reported paying closer to $8 million. So
that's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money. Well,
The price of commercials has definitely gone up.
the pressure is now on.
Yes,
You
gotta
have to
a
get
passing
Thursday
week. I
and
really
Friday.
need to focus.
But you are good under pressure. We're
History
gonna.
has proven that.
Yes,
yeah.
it has. So
Pressure is definitely high.
I'm not counting you out at this point.
Nope, not yet.
Have a good rest of your Wednesday.
You too, Chad. Happy Wednesday, everybody. See you tonight for the big high school sports show.
That's a good reminder. 6 till 8 p.m. Big high school sports show right here on 98.9 WXCO. Coming up next, Matt and Air on Air. Thanks for joining us. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.